Alright, what is going on, everybody? So this is just a quick recording to make sure I still remember how to do these. So I recently bought... Well, I'm getting ahead of myself. I've not been recording for a while now, just because I'm lazy. Anyways, that's really all there is to it. But no. I recently bought the Resistance 2 pack for Mechwarrior Online, so that I can get that sweet ECM Stalker that is coming out. And that means I have 4 new chassis to play with. The Wolfhound, I got the Wolfhound 1, 1A, and a special resistance version of 2. The Mauler 1P, the Mauler MX90, a special resistance version of the Mauler 1R, the Crab 2D, that's a Crab 20, sorry, the Crab 27B, and a special resistance version of the Crab 27R. Just the Crab 27. The R is the special version. The Black 7 Knight, the contraction for the Black Knights is really awkward. The Black 6B Knight, and a special version of the Black 6 Knight. Now, all of these have some really screwy builds, except for the Crabs that I haven't put any builds on at all yet. But we're here to talk about the Wolfhounds. So, let's take a look at the Wolfhounds. The Wolfhound 1, they've all got pretty mediocre quirks. They're a little bit faster. The Wolfhound 1 has some range bonuses. The 1A has some duration bonuses. It's a little bit tankier all over. The 2 has ER large heat generation, reduced by 15%. So I've got something really wild cooked up for this thing. That's what we're going to talk about here. Here she is in all its glory. 3 ER large lasers, an XL 240, and 10 heat sinks. Now I'd really like to be running an XL 250 in this thing. If you don't know how engine sizes work, basically at XL 250 or standard 250, you have the max number of internal heat sinks, and internal double heat sinks are far more effective than external double heat sinks. So if I had enough tonnage to switch to a 250 from the 240, I would get effectively 20 double heat sinks. Right now I have like 19.4 heat sinks. So it'd be a slight improvement in my heat management, but I think with all these large lasers that's kind of necessary. ER larges are incredibly hot. A large laser generates 7 heat, ER large generates 8 heat for the same damage. The only real difference is that the ER has a much longer range, with a maximum range of 1,350 meters compared to the 900 meter range of the regular large laser. So 3 ER large lasers is a pretty hefty amount of damage over a pretty long range. And because I have an XL 240 and a 35-ton frame, I am moving at 111 kilometers an hour. At 111 kilometers an hour, I have enough speed to more or less make up for the fact that I lack jump jets, and I can really play at ranges that suit this build. You don't want to get in close with this much heat. You can't sustain it for very long, and you'll just get your teeth kicked in. So, by playing at longer ranges than a regular large laser would allow me to, I can more effectively just fall back and cool down when needed. And I can also relocate pretty frequently to prevent the enemy from figuring out exactly where I am. So let's do some matches and see if I can apply that in practice. Saying these things on paper, it's always a lot easier than actually getting them down in practice. So it is going to probably take a little while to find a match. No, there it is. I'm gonna vote Frozen City. I know the new Frozen City is a much hated map for a lot of good reasons, but oh my goodness, it's gonna go to Caustic. No, I was going to go to Tourmaline. But no, I think Frozen City would really suit this build well. Because it has very long-range sight lines. And, you know, it's frozen. It's just kind of obvious that with all this heat in a cold environment, it'll be easier to run. Tourmaline is going to be the exact opposite. Because it's, you know, a desert. It's going to be like 100 degrees outside. And that's really going to hurt my heat sinks. But yes, the general idea of this build, and all my Wolfhound builds actually, because I wasn't really sure how to build them. The Wolfhounds are very samey mechs in that you have 4 and they all have the same hardpoints in the same locations. So what I had to try and figure out how to do was how to try and build them in a way that I couldn't just use a Panther for, you know? Because, you know, 2 large lasers, I've got a Panther for that. PPCs, I've got a Panther for that. Medium laser spam, I've got a Panther for that. The Panthers are better at it, because they can carry SRMs and LRMs, NARC or something. The SRMs are actually really, really good for the medium lasers, I find. You can strip them with the medium lasers and crit seek with the SRMs or something. The Panthers also have jump jets, which is generally better suited to this kind of poking. But no, the reason I settled on 3 ER large lasers when I already have a large laser Panther is because the large laser Panther only has 2 large lasers, and they're regular large lasers, I think. So I don't have as much alpha damage in the Panther, and it runs much cooler. You know, that's the important part. I don't have as much alpha damage. I'm completely trashing that shot there. So I'm not gonna go that way because that's an Arctic Cheetah, and I want nothing to do with an Arctic Cheetah. Arctic Cheetahs are very scary brawlers, no matter what their build is. And he might be a Narc build. Didn't catch those shoulders. He's either a Narc
ran right into the middle of you guys. Gulf 6 maybe, Gulf 5.
That's a laser build. He's coming right towards
Medium's
me.
running around the outside.
I'm gonna lock onto him so the rest of my team can see him.
Box 4 into Gulf 3, 2 mediums.
Yeah, he's all small lasers. That means he's got a lot of damage. Not quite as much as if he had small pulses. Yeah, that's just beyond my range. Some heavy shots getting exchanged now. Oh Jesus! He's out of my range, but I'm within his range.
There's 2 mediums sneaking up behind us.
Oh dear.
Golf 4.
So we're gonna try and pull back into G6, H6 here before those guys slam into us. Unless it looks like my team's going to counter push, so it may be in our best interest to follow.
Target acquired.
Yeah, it's that Jenner might be a problem. Depends on what his build is. I can't actually see because it looks like he's with a Shadowcat or a Griffin or something. Now, in all honesty, I really shouldn't be doing this, getting this close. Because this build is way too hot to be this close. Okay, so that's a Cyclops.
Target destroyed.
Oh,
New target acquired.
what a waste of a shot.
Heat level critical.
Oh, that's a Kodiak in the background there.
Heat level critical.
I don't know what this Jaeger mech is doing, but we're just gonna keep working this hill line to poke them.
New target acquired. Heat level.
India's got a bad leg. See him, Timberwolf?
Yeah, you see why it might have been a good idea for us to relocate before that. You can see like 2 large ER larges has almost peeled open my side torso.
Question is, how much support does he have?
Acquired.
So we don't actually have a shot on that Arctic cheetah. So we're just gonna head over here and see if we can get some shots from over here. We can on that Kodiak, who is preoccupied. That is a Kodiak 3 though. They're very, very mean.
New target
Well, he has that guy.
acquired.
Target spotted. Need assistance.
So it looks like we've kinda got no choice here but to get much closer than I'd like to be. Because to go back there would be putting us on the low ground.
Kilo, stand torso.
New target acquired.
They're all F4.
Oh, I wanted to put an alpha into the center torso, but my cooldown was just a little bit too long.
New target.
Alright, so there's a
acquired.
timber wolf up there. There's not a lot I can do about that though. Alright, so I took his arm off. That's probably not much of a problem for him. I doubt he had anything in it. But component destroyed is what matters.
Need assistance.
Alright, so our grasshopper's calling for assistance. I don't know with what though.
Careful, unleash. No cover out here.
Both torsos on Golf, Cyclops.
We have a surround. Other people need to push.
Target acquired.
Alright, so that Cyclops just lost a side torso to me.
Center torso on Golf, Cyclops.
Damage.
Ooh,
Watch
without
that
taking
timber
off
wolf
one of
back in
my
the guards
arms.
up there.
New target acquired. Heat level.
Luckily, I don't have anything in my arms, so that's not much of a problem.
New target acquired. Heat
Oh dear. See, this is the awkward part
destroyed.
of ER larges, is the heat doesn't hit you all at once. It keeps building for the 1.25 seconds it takes for the laser to fully burn out. So after the initial wave of heat hits you, you may think you're okay, and then a little bit more pushes you over the edge, and you shut down in a really inopportune
target
spot.
acquired. New target acquired.
Alright, that was a pretty okay match. Did a lot of poking. A lot closer than I'd like to have been, but reasonably showed off the abilities of this mech.
Target
Now I have to show off how terrible I am at shooting.
destroyed.
I gotta kill most damage dealt on that cheetah. So, 400 damage, not stellar, you know, it's okay. 3 components destroyed, a kill most damage dealt, and 7 assists. Reasonably okay, you know, 300,000 C-bills. So, I hope that kind of showcased what I'm getting at, where the general idea of this build is that you're very hot, but you're kind of working at ranges and speeds where that's not much of an issue. You don't want to commit to things, you want to poke corners and ridges, because unlike the Panther, like I said, your mounts are all reasonably high up, they're not down here. So you can poke ridges much better than the Panther. And when poking and trading with people, you can twist to use your shield arms, because they're completely stripped. There's 13 points of armor on them. So there's nothing there except dynamic structure slots, and losing those doesn't actually do anything to you. You know? So all of your important bits are here in the torso. You can lose anything else. You can lose a leg, both arms, doesn't matter. You are still at more or less 100% offensive capacity. I won't say 100% capacity because without a leg, you're going to be moving like 40 kilometers an hour. The biggest drawback to this build, aside from how hot it is probably the lack of jump jets. Like, For more or less the same thing, you could probably use a Panther 9R or something. You'd have better quirks, actually. But you'd have the lower hard points. There's probably some other mechs that you can do this with. However, I won't go and look through all the 35 tonners right now. So, the Wolfhound 2. 3 ER large lasers, lots of alpha damage. Oh man, it's pretty good. I've had like 700 damage games in this. So anyways, I'm kind of grasping at straws for things to say here about this. I mean, what more do you want me to say? It's 3 ER large lasers. It's very hot, but you're very fast, and you have a lot of alpha damage for a light. Feel free to give it a shot yourself and see what you think. Thank you all for watching. I'm signing off.